I was visiting with my uncle, Father Francis, recently, and he holds so much of our family history, it's sometimes fun to pick his brain. He said, you know, Grandpa, would be my grandpa, his dad, was born here in Mankato. I said, I never knew that. And it kind of made sense to me a bit because coming to Mankato, I kind of felt at home here. So my roots really are here. Except he said he was baptized at St. Peter and Paul's. Of course, then I looked it up and he was born in 1877. So there was no St. John, so that made it better. When he was about a teenager, they moved to Madelia. The son's family moved to Madelia and established a farm there. And eventually my grandpa cut off and really formed a farm that became our home place, the farm that we went to often as children. Grandpa was in his 70s by the time I was born, so I knew him mostly in retirement, but it was always fun to go out to the farm and go into that house. There was a unique smell that's still with me. They had a cooking stove and just other things that really made that farmhouse unique. We loved to go there. As Grandpa aged, he began to lose his memory, we noticed, and at times get lost. It was, we didn't know it at the time, but it was the onset of Alzheimer's. So eventually, he had to move in with us. He lived a while in our home, and I kind of grew to know my grandpa well. But his disease progressed, and we put him in a nursing home. And he died on my 16th birthday. It wasn't a great thing for me to have him die that day, but it was really the first time I had experienced death of someone that I really knew. And it left me with all sorts of feelings and thoughts. I was certainly sad and yet kind of rejoicing because he didn't even know us anymore at the end. The sense of death and what happens to us at that time, or even our loved ones, I believe is very near us these days. Certainly in the church we celebrate today All Saints. Last night many images of death and darkness, Halloween. Tomorrow, All Souls. I will read today the names of those who have died in this parish in the last year. It is a time for us to really entrust, especially the ones who have died, to a loving God. I believe it raises in us a sense of, we kind of want to know, are the ones that have gone before us in heaven? We would want some security, some knowledge almost about that. Now for my grandpa, he stood tall and was really well respected in the community. He was an honest man, very simple. But in the parish, he had a very central place. He was the key to building a new church in that town. And I really carry no doubt that he is at peace with God. And yet, for us, I think that desire to know is maybe a sense of urging us on in our own faith. The gospel today of the Beatitudes, I think, is a good way. It says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who really live simple lives, who are honest, and who really have clean hearts, it says, who are willing to forgive, who are ones that, in the face of persecution, they stand up in faith. It really was, in a lot of ways, the things that I remember about my grandpa. And if we we were to follow those simple guidelines in our own lives, really to probably simplify our faith, to know that we depend upon Jesus day in and day out. And sometimes when we decide to take it back, we take back our own power and we want to run things ourselves, then we turn again back to God and we entrust our daily lives to Him. That simple process, I think, brings us to a place where we will find greater peace in our lives. In a sense, we will find heaven even now. So, in faith, living day in and day out, we find some sense of heaven, and we anticipate with those who have gone before us that we will find a greater connection to God and a greater sense of peace in our lives eventually when we die and join with all the saints. So this day we rejoice with those who have gone before us. We entrust them to our prayers and to a loving God, and we continue along our own journey of faith.